Welcome back to War Thunder. Welcome aboard the Type 65 Russian, Soviet, Japanese anti-aircraft vehicle. This is one hell of a fun vehicle and maybe a bit too good for it because of one reason and one reason only, that being the combination of many great things. That sounds a bit strange, doesn't it? Well, the guns are very similar to the ones on the ZSU-37. This vehicle is a battle rating of 5.3, the ZSU-37 at 4.7. What makes it so much better than the ZSU-37 is it's based on the chassis of a T-34-85, I guess, with the machine gun removed. It has a horsepower to ton ratio of just over 20. Top speed of 55 that you actually see, great maneuverability, and two 37mm Type 65 cannons. The belts are nearly the same as on the ZSU-37. The first belt, stock belt, nothing special, 50-50 AP and HE. The second one being purely HE for anti-aircraft purposes. The second one being a pure AP belt, very similar to the one on the ZSU-37 with 60mm of penetration. And then we come to something strange, the last belt. Whereas on the ZSU-37 the belt is the BR-167P with one HWEP and two high explosive shells. On the Type 65 the last belt is called, oh wait, BR-167P, but contains purely of HWEP with 102mm of penetration from two guns, and you have double the turret rotation speed of the ZSU-37. And you have much better mobility and overall better survivability, despite the turret having less effective armor. It's still 15mm, and that means German APHE shells will overpenetrate but still do great full penetration damage as a solid AP shot. And the turret is not that big that shells can fly through without doing damage. Sometimes they might, most of the time they will do damage. I have to say this vehicle is, the first few battles I thought it would be decent. And that is one of the first battles that I thought to myself, well, show this battle, talk about the vehicle, and then that's it. But, this is a rather open map, I'd say, with many short-range engagements and long-range engagements, and you can't sneak through places or two other places like you can do in city maps. But when you get a city map, well, then there are two ways: stay in the back or full glory mode. So I can kill tanks, a lot of tanks from the front, 102mm, Panzer Force from the front, enemy AAAs from the front, every tank from the side, even Tigers. With King Tigers, in a max up tier, the Tiger Porsche, you have your damn problems. The sloping on the side armor, it's a close call. It can be done at very close range, but it's a close call. A lot of other tanks are much safer to go for, and most of the time, once you have the initiative, you just kill the enemy tank or the plane. And it's surprising what I survived in this battle, I have to say. So that's the first battle. Let's move on to the second one, and just watch the mobility, where I go and what I can do with the gun handling of a AAA. Remember, AAAs have better elevation speed than normal tanks, just excluding here gun stabilizing systems and top tier vehicles, post-war vehicles, and also, keeping it in the overall meta of AAA versus normal tank. You know, a AAA needs to be able to follow a plane while the plane flies in, you know, pulling up, getting into a dive, and just, you know, moving across the horizon. A AAA needs good turret rotation speed, it needs good gun lifting speed or gun elevation speed, but the combination of all those good stats on this vehicle makes it a very early on, very aggressive anti-Hellcat tank in the first place. And it can ruffle stomp so many tanks you wouldn't believe. That was a lucky shot on the M8A1, and then we will finish off the Hellcat. Double strike, moving on, and it's just fun. It's fast. It's a bit like playing with certain tanks in arcade. This remembers me overall like the handling on a T-34-85 in arcade, really. And then add to it the fire rate and the not, you know, markers, or the non-existence of markers in RB, and you have a vehicle that is not undefeatable but is trollish as hell. And you can do things like that. Bit of a lag here. Finishing off here the Slugger. I get shot at by something, I'm not quite sure what, and before this guy can do great damage to me, I get saved by another Type 65. That was in fact a T-20 facing towards me. At that point in time I already did a lot of damage. I could easily jump into an aircraft, also considering that I have low spawn costs in the first place with this AAA. And I think that's not right, you know, to equip a tank with high penetration, anti-tank capable rounds. There are, you know, German vehicles such as the Wirbelwind and the Ostwind that also are feared amongst lightly armored targets, and even being able to really decimate tanks from the side, while being still able to really effectively shoot down aircraft, put into the right position, of course. All that together, together with the fact that this vehicle has an unnerved HWAP belt, much like on the ZSU 37 before the great, you know, HWAP belt removal. It was not the best thing to do, and I should have shot the Panzer IV. It would have been the better call, and I could have probably gotten away from that M6. But, you know, this was my deserved fate. And now let's look at that battle. Again, it's not a complete battle, it's just the early on ruffle stomp part that I just want to show. Look how fast I am. Yes, this is a city street with mostly hard terrain, but still, look how I'm moving across the city, how I'm just leading the charge, and how I will deal with the opponents. I think this is a, again, very easy to use, just throw in vehicle. Even if you die, you have a high possibility of spawning in another vehicle, maybe a AAA truck. In the anti-air role, I think some of the gas trucks are better, but still, I think what you can do early on against Hellcats, against, you know, lightly armored vehicles that also try to rush for the cap, it's just, you know, really fun. Is it overpowered? Everything can kill it. The frontal armor on the turret has a lot of holes in it, quite literally, for the gunners and also for the two loaders. By the way, you have two gunners. The commander double acts as commander and gunner. So even if you lose the commander or the normal gunner, you still can fire at the enemy. At least that was something that I could achieve today. By the way, I got this vehicle from Gaijin, And thank you, Gaijin, for providing me this vehicle. This is, of course, the summer vehicle reward vehicle, if I have not mentioned it. And is it worth it? Oh, hell yes, it's fun. However, again, it's not unbeatable. It is not an automatic I win button. And against aircraft, it's not that great. However, it still can do the job. I think the best part about it is that you have two guns, so the armor piercing damage is twice the effect, I guess, and you can fire on the move. You have twice the turret rotation speed of the ZSU 37, and all that in combination just makes for a very good ruffle stomp vehicle. And I think it was very, very fun to just, you know, roll over Hellcats and even enemy AAA. Oh, that was nice. And that was a simple ace. And now I think I will round it up. Do I think the vehicle is worth it? Well, it's not bringing something completely new to the table. We know the tank chassis, we know the gun system, but we have not seen the combination of the stats, the guns, and the tank chassis quite in that respect. I still think that it is great. However, it will not completely solve the Russian AAA dilemma. I mean, the Russians are not incapable of shooting down aircraft, but other AAA vehicles are a bit more up to the task, especially at higher tiers, with the exception of the Shilka, of course, which is one of the best AAAs in the game. The rate of fire, the shell density, the range, it's just a different magnitude, I'd say. Do I think that enemy teams will complain about this vehicle? Well, I bet, especially that other nations that have fast vehicles that try to rush caps, except the Russians, will feel the impact at the respective battle rating. And due to the high mobility, I see this vehicle also being used at higher tiers. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more. And we'll see each other on the battlefields of War Thunder.